Hi Aquarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica, welcome to the channel. I'm so happy that you found me. This is your March 2017 Astrology, Tarot, and Oracle card video scope forecast. I'm sorry that this video has been so delayed. I got sick at the end of February, and I am going back to school full time, so that on top of everything else, honestly, just ran out of time. So I'm recording these last two videos, Aquarius and Pisces, on Sunday, March the 5th. Forgive my delay. Like I said, I'm a human being and sometimes life happens. Alright, Aquarius. Why don't you set a spell so we can talk about your stars? Now, the takeaway for March 2017, actually the spring of 2017, is this Venus retrograde. Now, I spent a good portion of time in February devoted towards doing the research on the Venus retrograde. I did a video for each of the zodiac signs and how it may be playing out in their world, pulled some cards, some oracle cards. You may want to check that out. I will have that pop up in an information bubble in the upper right hand corner of your screen. You can check that out after you get finished with this video, and maybe it will help supplement some of the messages that come forth through this video. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the Venus retrograde unless your cards indicate it, because I did so much time I put so much time and focus on it already. So, at the beginning of March, on March 3rd or 4th, depending on where you live on the planet, so that means at the point of this recording, even if you watch it as soon as I upload it, we are under the influence of a Venus retrograde. Venus is the planet that represents love, beauty, harmony, and values, but also your money and resources. It's going retrograde, which will look like a backwards motion in the sky for us, in the sign of Aries. This is your third house, Aquarius. The third house is ruled traditionally by the sign of Gemini. It is a house of your short distance trips, your siblings, your cousins, your neighbors, dealing with people in your neighborhood, people on your level in your neighborhood interactions as well. It also speaks to your communication. Communication is how you speak, how people interpret you, how you interpret others, but it is also your daily commute. It is the path that you take to work or school and the vehicle that you use. So that third house is where Venus will be retrograding. On the 9th or 10th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mars going into Taurus. Mars is the planet that is representative of energy, impulse, and aggression. And that fourth house is the house that's ruled by Cancer on the astrological wheel. And it is the house of home and family, or roots and foundations. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be. Family is who you share that home with. That can be your parents, your spouse, your partner, your children, your fur babies, house guests, housemates, or roommates. Your roots and foundations can be internal or external. Internal, your roots would be like your tightly held beliefs, philosophies, opinions, religious ideology as well. The foundation would also equate to your structure. That could be your bones or your teeth. For the external roots and foundation, it could be the roots in the foundation affecting your home, roots impacting your plumbing possibly, or just the local flora around your home, I guess, if you will, but also the actual foundation of your home and what it sits on as well. Also, the structure of your home can be internal. That can be the studs of your house and the plumbing of your house. And the fact that Cancer rules that fourth house, it's a water sign. If you aren't having any issues play out in your fourth house dealing with your family, then you may need to check on your home structurally, internally, and externally. Or if you aren't having any internal reflections, I guess, as well would be added to that. Now, on the 11th or 12th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we have a full moon in Virgo. Now, Virgo is ruled by the planet of Mercury. And Mercury deals with communication. So what I'm seeing will play out for the majority of us is the fact that we will be dealing with worry, anxiety, or judgment in one way or another tied to communication. Virgo rules that sixth house. The sixth house is the house of work and health, or competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. But this full moon for you, Aquarius, is playing out in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of Scorpio. That is the house of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. It is the circle of life. It's the house of sexuality. It's the house of transformation, regeneration, metamorphosis. It's other people's money. It's instincts, primal, basic, or human. The fact that there's a full moon in this house can be indicative of highly emotional times. Other people's money qualifies as your spouse's income or money coming to you not earned by your earned wage. It's not something that you clocked in on and earned. And I've had housewives get upset with the way that I describe it. I didn't make these houses up. I didn't make up the descriptions. I'm just telling you how I see it. I was a housewife for 11 years. There is no clock that you clock in or out of. It is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day job. That is the reality of it. So don't be upset with me about the way that it's being presented. If it stings, I'm sorry. I don't intend it to be that way. I'm just trying to give the most information as I can, and sometimes our subjective lenses get in the way. Okay, on the 13th or 14th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mercury, that planet that rules Virgo, that deals with thought, movement, and communication, moving into Aries. This is your third house. Going to be a lot of third house focus for the rest of March. That third house is that house that's ruled by Gemini, and it deals with communication. Communication is a big area of life that people truly don't respect for what it is. Communication is an art form. It's not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's actually digesting what is being said, giving thoughtful analysis to it, and then responding. But a lot of people get that confused. Communication is how you speak and how others interpret you, but it's also how you interpret others. It's how you digest and consume information. It's how you speak. It's also your communication devices. With Venus going retrograde in the third house, I would say I would do my best to avoid buying a car right now, because it seems like you may pay more for it if it's a brand new car. Now, if it's a secondhand car, or if it's a car that you know the worth of it and the seller doesn't, then it might be a good bargain for you. But with Mercury moving into that third house, you may feel really driven to buy a communication device in some way. With Venus going retrograde, like I said, the only way I would do it is if you know the value of that item and the seller doesn't, and it's a good deal for you. Now, don't rip people off, but, pay what they're asking. And be happy with the deal that you get. But I would refrain from communication devices because Venus is going retrograde in the third house. It might be buyer's remorse is really what I'm trying to help inform you of. Now, on the 20th or 21st of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got the sun moving into Aries in your third house. And this is the day of the spring equinox. This is the first day of the astrological new year. This is the period of time when those Aries babies are starting to be born. The sun moving into the third house is just illuminating and bringing more energy and focus to the third house, dealing with issues of your siblings, cousins, or neighbors, possible neighborhood situations, or interactions with neighbors, and communication, and your commute, and your short distance travels to and from work, to and from school. I would say no further than what a day trip would, in my opinion, be covered in that third house. Now, finally, on the 27th or 28th of the month, we've got a new moon in Aries. And a new moon is always a seed that can be planted. It takes about 6 months for gestation. So, plant a seed in this third house in some way, dealing with your communication, dealing with your short-distance trips, dealing with your siblings, your cousins, or your neighbors. And in 6 months' time, that full moon will bring forth what you have planted. And this is where it's really important to try to pay attention to the astrology of things, because knowing where these seeds are planted, when the full moons come, it won't be quite so emotional or traumatic feeling for some folks, because you know what you've planted, you know what you've started. But if you are trying to do like law of attraction kind of stuff, the new moon is a great time for you to plant those seeds for your abundance and for your prosperity and that sort of thing. But if you don't know about it, then you could be planting those seeds unconsciously, because it still happens whether you're actively participating in it or not. This still occurs. So I've been telling certain signs that have placements that deal with children or sexuality or birth to watch out with this new moon, because it could be a new baby. You know, not 6 months, but 9 months. You get what I'm saying then. So, Aquarius, that's what's going on astrologically for you for this March 2017. Now what I'm going to do is transition over to the tarot cards and start shuffling for you. But while I'm shuffling, I'm going to do my little spill where I say this is a general reading. It may not resonate for all of you Aquarians, and if it doesn't, that's fine. You have a little bit of each of the zodiac in you, believe it or not. I encourage you to Google the words free natal chart and to have your birth certificate close by so that you are able to put in the accurate information. It will generate a pie chart that looks like it has 12 slices in it, kind of like a pizza. Each of those houses is ruled by a zodiac sign, and there will be planets and different possible asteroids and the like in each of those 12 houses. But with that, you can delineate where your sun, your moon, and your rising sign are. And those are the videos I recommend most people to watch. But during a Venus retrograde, I also recommend to watch your natal Venus placement sign. But there's different YouTube videos and different online tutorials that will teach you how to read your natal chart if you don't know how. If you've already gone through that process and you still can't figure it out, or you want me to confirm the placements, you think you've got it right but you just want to know, you could shoot me a screenshot of that birth chart to sweetteastro@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible with those placements. Just understand that I've got a lot going on, and my email box is quite full and filling up faster every day. I try to keep it clean, but you know how it is. So yeah, I encourage you to do that natal chart so you can see where your stuff is. And if you do shoot me that screenshot, that's a service that I do for free. I believe people need to know where their sun, their moon, and their rising sign are. It's just something that we can use to learn about ourselves more. And I think that the adage of know thyself is a very important one. So you can watch those videos not only on my channel, but other readers as well. So Aquarius, I've changed up my viewing perspective, or my shooting perspective. I hope that you enjoy this. I'm going to pull the 4 cards that I normally would pull, and I'm also going to pull some oracle cards for you. The bottom card is going to represent the underlying theme or the overarching energy for the spread, and the top 3 are pulled for clarity on this video. For the mid-month, I'll pull more tarot cards, but I can't do the astrology and the amount of tarot cards that I would do in the mid-month reading. It's just a lot. And these videos can sometimes get upwards of 45 minutes, so I do my best to give you the information, but you could go on and on and on and on, and there has to be a point where I cut it off, right? If not, I would just be doing videos all the time, and while it would be fun for me, and y'all would probably enjoy it, I've got other things I have to do. I am cutting this Crystal Mandala Oracle deck. This is a new deck for me. It is from Elena Fairchild. The artwork is by Jane Marin. I really like this deck because she has taken the crystal energy and paired it with either archangel energy, ascended master energy, or ancient cultural deity energy. And she's also paired it with vibratory messages in the form of 333, 444, or 888. So a lot of information can come forward just on one card that's being pulled for you. And I really, really enjoy the deck. Gave my friends some private readings yesterday, and they all seem to really respond very well to the deck as well. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Now I'm shuffling for you from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. this is the first deck that I ever purchased for myself online. And Uranus is my rising planet. It's the closest planet to my ascendant line. And in the first house. And Uranus is your ruling planet. So a lot of you Aquarians have messaged me before and said that you feel a real resonance with me. That's probably one of the reasons why. Uranus rules y'all, but also rules the internet. And with me being a Scorpio riser, it makes me super weird. But it also gives me a flow through the internet. And these cards were literally talking to me from Amazon. In the back of my head, it was like, you need to have this deck in your house like yesterday. And the funny thing is Uranus rules the rebels as well. So, there's your Sacred Rebels card, Aquarius. Now what I'm going to do is hit the pause button, flip these cards over, and do your tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story, y'all. Hang tight. I'll be right back. Hey Aquarius, I'm back with your cards, so let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy of your spread is the Knight of Cups. The Knight could be a messenger or a message. If it is a messenger, then this is someone around the age of 35. I would say no older than 40 at all. Honestly, like 38 would be the cutoff if we're being completely real. The cups represent water sign energy. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I see this guy, and I don't know why I normally don't see him as this way, but I see this as possibly drinking and driving for some people. And it's interesting because we do have Venus with that there's a lot of third house energy, that short distance travel. And if an individual, I'm not accusing you of it, but if an individual was going to drive impaired, it would be a short distance journey. It wouldn't be a long distance journey more often than not. The cups, aside from water signs, also deal with things that fill you up emotionally, that make you feel emotionally whole, emotionally stable, emotionally validated. It's those things that make your cup runneth over, the things that that are your gooey center. I feel like this could involve an air sign as well because of the wings up here in the helmet and in his boots down at the bottom. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and you, Aquarius. And of all the air signs, you are the most... Gemini's more about the head. Libra's more about the love, and you are more about that balance between the head and love. So you find, in my opinion, the Aquarians have a really they're on the scales too, but they're trying to balance their head and their heart. And it may be that some of you are trying to find that balance between your head and your heart. Now, the underlying, or no, that was the underlying theme or overarching energy. The first card in the top three for clarity is actually, this is the 14th card of the Major Arcana. This is the Temperance card. 1 + 4 is 5, and that speaks to that Leo-ruled house of sparks. And when I say sparks, I mean like the sparks of love, the sparks of creation, and the sparks of life. It's also the house where you have your DNA and fingerprints all over it, because it's where you have the most skin in the game. That is the house of your creations. So if you're an artist or a musician or a writer or something to that effect, if you put your heart and soul into it, then it's in one way or another your baby, your art form, your creation. The fifth house is the house of where you make your babies. It's the house of your pleasure seeking. It's where you go to blow off steam it's like going out with your friends. I hear shot, 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 shots. That LMFAO song, like when you're going out to get drunk and have a good time. I hear that sometimes when I think of that. Also, he's got 2 cups in his hand, y'all. The fifth house is that's where you go to have fun. That is your fun house. I'm sorry, there's people outside, and my dog is freaking out right now, so she may growl, she may bark. The Temperance card is the card of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the ruler of the ninth house. The ninth house is your worldview expanded through study or travel. This is higher education. This is long distance trips. This is adventures and questing. This is the house of foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. This is a house where you study foreign languages, religion, astrology, philosophy, foreign systems, legal systems, political systems. You have Jupiter transiting through the ninth house. Jupiter is the planet that makes everything bigger. It is the planet of increase, expansion, and excess, also achievement. Wherever Jupiter goes, it makes that energy bigger. So if the ninth house was experiencing good things, then there will more than likely be more good things. But if it wasn't so good, then it may be more of the not so good. Knowledge is power, and I'm trying to empower you, Aquarius. It could be that you are not, it could be that you're doing a lot of traveling and it's something that is new to you and it's kind of got you knocked off your center in some way, or someone close to you, maybe somebody, a Sagittarius in your world as well. Somebody possibly dealing with foreigners or foreign things, foreign people, foreign places. This card really is speaking to finding and discovering moderation and employing it. Like I said, the two cups here, this guy with his cup right here, this is finding balance not only on your emotional levels but also on the physical levels. So understand that almost, how do I put this? I would say anything in moderation is better than anything in excess. And those are very broad generalizations, but yeah. Now the second card that fell for you is the Six of Cups. The 6 represents the 6th house on the astrological wheel, and that is ruled by Virgo. That is the house of your work and health, or the competency and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It also is your daily grind, your daily to-do list, and your daily agenda. When I see this card, I think of it as a nostalgia card. I think of it as a reminiscing card. I think of it as a happy childhood, happy life, looking back on happy memories in some way or another. These cups, once again, the emotional validation, the emotional sustainment, the emotional sustenance, if you will, those things that make your cup runneth over. This could be like an offering of forgiveness as well, or possibly receiving of gifts in some way in the upright. But in the reverse, it may be that you are looking back on something that was, you're reflecting on a situation, a person, whatever, that you took for granted, or that maybe you're dealing with someone who has taken you for granted. I feel like this is in dealing with the Venus retrograde. I say that because of this red hood right here. Red represents fire signs for me. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And Aries rules the head. So that's why I said I feel like it's dealing with Aries. Venus is going retrograde in Aries and then back into Pisces. So it could be a situation that between your third and your second house, there is some nostalgia and reflecting on your values and what you once valued, maybe a shift in those values in one way or another. Or like I said, feeling that appreciation or the need for appreciation and validation in one way or another, possibly in the work area, because this is the 6th house of work and health. I read the numbers as the astrological houses. For some of you, it may feel like you have to give somebody something. Like you owe something to somebody. If that makes sense. The final card that was pulled is the Moon card, and this is another major arcana for you. So you had your first and your third cards as major arcana. This is the 18th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 8 is 9, and that speaks to that 9th house of Sagittarius. Hello. Higher education, long-distance trips, adventures and questing. Those foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. Your worldview expanded through study or travel. Now, the Moon card is a Major Arcana. The Moon is the ruling luminary of Cancer, which rules that 4th house. The 4th house is that home and family house, or your roots and foundations. That's where Mars will be transiting through. There could be some aggression or some action, energy, or impulse in this house. The Moon as a card is representative of Pisces. And it deals with compassion and following your instincts, or following one's instincts. Maybe not yours. It may be dealing with someone who... There are several people who it seems like are waking up, or realizing that they have spiritual gifts, or spiritual... Sorry, that's my neighbor's air conditioning and heating unit sounding like it's fixing to blow up. That knocked me off my track of thought, sorry. We had a 8-degree solar eclipse in Pisces at the end of February. This could also be speaking to that full moon in the 8th house for you, dealing with Virgo in worry, anxiety, and judgment in some way or another. When I see this card, it also, I'm reminded to watch and maintain, respect your boundaries and others' boundaries, because for me, this looks like it's supposed to be a bridge, but in the card, you can't tell where to cross, that you don't see where you don't see where the safe space to walk is, because the water has inundated those boundaries, if you will. I feel like this is speaking a lot to that solar eclipse in Pisces that you experienced. You may want to go back and watch your February mid-month video, where I would probably be doing more speaking about that eclipse for you. If not that, then the beginning of the February videos, or the beginning of February videos. There was a lunar eclipse in Leo as well. There isn't any real Leo representation in this spread, but that doesn't mean that the lunar eclipse isn't what is affecting the situation and making you respond the way that you feel like responding now, if that makes sense. Now, I did the tarot math for you, and that ended up being 38. 3 plus 8 is 11. And the 11 is the 11th house on the astrological wheel, which is ruled by you, Aquarius. And that is the house of your friends and groups, wishes. It's your bucket list. It's the teams, memberships, and associations that you're a part of. It's your wishes and goals. It's also the house of the internet. So, that's something that's interesting. You may be having a lot of communication through the internet, bringing you worry, anxiety, or judgment. Also understand that Saturn is transiting through the 11th house. Saturn is the planet of limitation, structure, and containment. And when I think of Saturn, I think of the building code inspector. And what I mean by that is every house on the astrological wheel has a foundation. And if that foundation of that house is not solidly built, Saturn, when testing that house, will condemn it. It will be knocked down. You will be brought back down. But it's to build you back up stronger, and it's for your highest good. So in that 11th house, you may be dealing with issues of limitation, structure, or containment, feeling confined in some way or another in the area of your friends or your groups, your memberships, teams, and associations that you may have. And you may also be dealing with the assessment of your bucket list, your future wishes, goals, and dreams. So that's what I see for you in the tarot portion of this reading. Now, to move on to the oracle cards from the Crystal Mandala oracle card deck from Elena Fairchild that I pulled for you. This is the 48th card. It is the goddess Freya and Amber. It reads the Untamed, and it falls under the Crystal Goddess messages under the 888 vibration. The 888 vibration messages bring forth the idea of mastery, leadership, authority, strength, and power. It asks that you trust in your inner knowledge, wisdom, and power. It also requests that when you experience the divine, to acknowledge it as real for what it is. When I see this card, I hear the 311 song Amber in the back of my head. There may be some healing energy in that song for you somewhere, Aquarius. I suggest you go listen to it if it resonates for you. This card is dealing with being true to yourself. But it's without condition. And this is total freedom. But that isn't always easy. Behind the clothing and the status symbols and the stories that you may tell to yourself and maybe to others, underneath all of that, you really want to be uncaged. When you're free, you understand that freedom doesn't guarantee security, and that means you have to be courageous. Don't allow the conditioning of fear to tame your heart, your dreams, or you. Do not temper yourself. And do not dull yourself for those who cannot handle you. There's a saying around here that goes to the effect of, I'm not going to dilute myself because you can't handle me at 100 proof. You may need to unplug from whatever it is that's draining you, and that can be the internet. The goddess Freya beckons you to release your shackles and to be wild and free. 4 plus 8 is 12. And you are enduring a Pluto transit through the 12th house. Pluto is the planet that represents renewal and deep transformation. When I think of Pluto transit change, I think of something that is occurring at all times, but is difficult to see and notice without a meta perspective or a before and after picture, like coastal erosion. It's happening all the time, but you don't recognize it until a house falls off a cliff into the ocean. You don't realize it until down in Louisiana there are graves floating. You know, I mean, coastal erosion is a real thing. Louisiana loses, I can't remember the exact number, but it is X amount of football fields inland a day due to coastal erosion. Mini contest, y'all go Google what that statistic is, because I can't remember it to save my life right now. And it's driving me crazy, to be honest with you. Okay. The second card that I pulled for you is from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. This is also a deck by Elena Fairchild. The artwork from this deck is from Autumn Sky Morrison. This card deals, it's the number 22 card. It's the 22nd card of the deck. She feels, she knows. There is a beautiful peacock feather that she looks like she has just kind of put behind her ear, like somebody would do with a beautiful hibiscus flower or something. There's the plume of it right there and kind of the little wispy feathers. Four plus 4 is 8, and that speaks to the 8th house of Scorpio. That's ruled by Scorpio. That is the house of life, death, and rebirth. Other people's money, sexuality, transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. The house of instincts. And you are having a full moon in that 8th house, Aquarius. The other synchronicity there is that 8-degree solar eclipse at the end of February. This card indicates that you are being blessed with the ability to truly see a situation or a person for who or what they are. To see what is real beyond the illusion and through the illusion. And that is true insight. This oracle card also indicates that if you've been stagnant or in need of inspiration, that this is an oracle of hope, that your vision will be restored and clarified, and you are going to see things differently. Venus retrograde has those rose-colored glasses on you right now. Come May, your life will look differently. The way that you see the situation will start to look differently. A shift in your perspective is necessary from time to time, and your ability to perceive is expanding at an accelerated rate right now. Perceive, receive, and help others so that they may see and believe. You're a point of inspiration, believe it or not, Aquarius. People look to you whether you realize it or not. They can't help but do it. Well, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I do hope that you're well. And I hope that you take care of yourself this month. I hope that you are kind to yourself this month. And I hope that you save some of that kindness for others. Because we're all going through private battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I'll be around for the mid-month readings, but I've got to finish this series first. And I'm almost done. Yay! I need to get that next series done because midterms are coming up. And I'm going to be traveling for debate this coming weekend. So yeah, fingers crossed on all that. Send me some good energy. It might be some late nights and early mornings for me, but it'll be all right. Take care of yourself, Aquarius. I'll see you soon for the mid-month readings. Until then, namaste. And I love y'all. Bye.